Today I want to show you how I take an old bullet journal and move into my next bullet journal. So let's jump in. I have given a tour of this old 2018 journal in a different video, all the goodies. I'm going to take us all the way to the back of my journal where I have a list of the things that I love in my journal. The best part about bullet journaling is you get to define how you structure it. For example, one of the things that I do is I keep all of my references in the very back of my journal. Things like books to read and inquiry projects I do with my kids, my personal definition of wealth, gift ideas, health notes, project I'm working on notes. So all of those references or collections I keep in the back half of my book. And then my references, things that I use in my goal setting, like my solar cycles, weekly rhythms, monthly goals, lunar cycles, all of these referential things that I use in my planning, I keep at the beginning. Let me walk you through how I go from this list to my new journal. The first thing as I do is I review my journal. I go through what I like and what I don't like, and I only write down the things that are my favorites. What I end up doing next is I start writing them on Post-it notes. So in my reference, I'm kind of starting here at the front of my book, thinking that I really loved the solar cycle. That was awesome. I would refer to it often. And I'm just gonna start putting these out randomly. And you know what, when I was thinking about it, in my solar cycle reference sheet at the beginning, I have two copies. This one's from Seasonal Soul and she's awesome, but I really ended up using kind of a blend of these two, and I've been thinking I want to make it a 2-page spread so there's lots of room for these notes related to the different holidays. So I'm going to grab a bigger sticky note and kind of do a little rough sketch of what I want it to be. And I want it to be a 2-page, and I think I want that sun in the middle, and maybe something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm gonna play around with that idea. I'll put this over here to put in my next one, because that's what's gonna happen. Is I'm gonna take these sticky notes and I'm going to then rearrange them into the order that I like best and then put them into the new one. I had the lunar phases, which is like new moon, quarter moon, full moon, annual goals, more like my intentions. And I'm putting this above the lunar because I like the idea of going from like big to small. The biggest cycle that we have is 365 days, and that's the solar cycle. And then the lunar cycles, which I have like the annual map, meaning like when the full moons and new moons are. That's every 29.5 days. You know what I also like having? I like having seasonal goals, and those are about every 3 months. So those are gonna go kind of between, so definitely solar cycle, annual goals, seasonal goals, the lunar cycle, lunar phases, the weekly rhythm. I like a daily rhythm, and I'm gonna arrange these in the order that I like best. And then coming over here to my collections, I like pairing them up. Some things are 2 pages. I like to leave space, books to read, and I write ×2 so that I know that I want 2 pages. I really like holding on to a wealth meditation and abundance because, well, that's a whole nother video. But my wealth meditation, I kind of want to have that right next to the page, which is the list of spending money like a boss. I'm not sure exactly how I want to call it, but the idea that, you know, gotta let money flow. So, you know, bringing in abundance, but also letting abundance flow. I'm gonna put those two together. I have a collection It's all the different kind of grimoire pages that I'm working on and that I want to keep adding to my collection. And I also have this dream of a magical supply shop, and I'm going to put these two together. With books to read, I'm going to put my inquiry with kids, put that up there. And so I'm starting to kind of get a sense of how I want things organized. And as I go through, there are things that I just didn't really necessarily want to keep a collection of. I thought they were a favorite, and then I was like, yeah, maybe that's more of a journaling thing. Like in my ideal life, I am, which that might come back, right? But just like right now, that doesn't feel like my thing. So I can cross that out, and I can always bring it back in. The beauty of the bullet journal. So you get the idea. I'm gonna put these on sticky notes, and then I'm going to arrange them. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to bring in the new journal, and I'll keep this nearby so I can pluck these, but you'll see I've already done a lot of this work. I'm just kind of going back and showing you how I did it before. Bye-bye 2018 journal. Hello 2019. And I say that, but in true witchy fashion, the witches, they celebrate their holidays starting the dark night before the holiday. So for example, Samhain is November 1st, but they begin their celebrations on the evening or when darkness falls on the 31st of October. So in some ways, my journal is the same way. I begin it in December. This way, I'm really more aligned with the season than I am with some arbitrary concept of time. So before I begin, I am gonna do a little blessing. Let's begin. At the beginning, I wrote in pencil my intention for this journal. Bring clarity of purpose, keep me focused on my vision, and empower me to create my best life. So, boom. Thank you, universe. Love my bullet journal. Here we go. As I went along, I thought of things that I didn't have before. And this page, honestly, in my old journal was a blank page. I just very seldom moved into this page. But I have some high hopes of turning this into a vision board. I'm not a magazine collector, so I don't have a lot of physical images in my life, so I'm kind of curious of where this is gonna go, if this is going to be some pictures. But I kind of just love the idea of a rowdy, colorful page full of images of the dream my future self is living. Boom. Talk about big vision, starting big. Thinking this is like 5-year, 10-year goals and vision. So next I have my solar cycles, and see there's that illustration that I drew. Moving on to my annual calendar and birthdays. Then I'll have a page that's for my annual goals, and this is a new idea of doing winter and spring, summer and fall, and this is a little hard to see, but the idea is I wanted to have space for writing out under each quarter how I was going to take these big annual goals into quarter goals. That's what this is. This is showing that I want winter, spring, summer, fall grids, but they're long so that in each box I can state a seasonal specific goal and then list a project or two. So now I've gone from annual 365-day cycles into 3-month cycles, and then I've broken down these seasons into each one gets a page, and you've seen this in my other journal. I list the goals and then I put down the 3 months and do some rough plotting. Now we move on to lunar cycles. Every month or so, 29.5 days, the 13 moons, and there are different kind of seasonal and timely correlations. Also the annual calendar of lunar cycles. This is going to be a page to really look at the moonly rhythm of the phases of each cycle, from new moon to full moon to dark moon. a page for my weekly rhythm, a page for my daily rhythm. And here we have December. And in my journal, in my video where I review my 2018, I realized I didn't really love how I was doing the monthly setup. So I kind of sat down and did a little thinking about how I want it to be. And I do want to start out with my calendar on my left. It's a little thing where I like to be able, when I'm planning in the future, to flip like this and be able to see it right here, as opposed to having to look here and then back and forth. This will be my goals, where my habit tracker sheet folds over. So that means my habit tracker will be here, and then my gratitude practice list will be here. And I've gone through here, I don't know if you can see this in pencil, but I have taken time to plot out the whole year. And this is really, so here's December 10th through 16th, December 17th through 23rd, the 24th through the 30th, and then we come to January. And I did this so that I could have a clear sense of where my year was going to end. This is my second time doing a full year in one bullet journal, and I loved it. I loved the idea of having a tome that captures the one full year. And this will take me to the end of fall, the end of November of 2019. And so here I am, I come to the end of November, and I dedicate 2 pages for a 2019 reflection and that page that had like the next best journal ideas and favorites. I did not leave space for this last time, and you'll see I ended up having to kind of appropriate the last page in my last journal to make space for that. So then I'm left with these few pages, and this is where I go to put in my my collections. And so I go to my back, love my moleskin journal. It has a little pocket here, and as you can see in my last one, I keep all sorts of funky little things. And I did not use a table of contents in my last one, but I do want to do a little bit of a table of contents here to capture where my different collections and references are. I don't know if I'll use it, but it's just going to be one page. I want to have reference and I want to have collections. And the reference will start like page 1. Actually, probably, I'll go the other way. I'll write content page. So this will be what? Vision board. What did I have first? And then solar cycle. And then collections. This is where my collections really begin. So what do I want this page number to start with? And I was thinking about starting with 101. But I decided in honor of it, the November 11th, 2018, which 2018 added together is 11. And I found out that this year that's my grandfather's birthday, November 11th. 11 is just jiving with me. So I think what I'm gonna do is start with 111 and just see where it goes. I've been having a lot of synchronicity around matching numbers. I'm going to play a tribute to that, kind of a little nod to my intuition and my angels and my guides that have been dropping down some awesome triple digits, like, you know, when you're on the clock and it's like 222 and you're like, oh, I love that. So we're just going to do that. It's fun, it's playful. I'm going to do that. And notice there'll be blanks because I don't have anything planned for 113. I'm curious to see what will be there. This is a little tiny trick that I do. I always forget. But down here in this little corner, you can see that I've put an arrow and the number 48. And that's because there are 48 boxes going this way, and there are 36 boxes going this way. I always forget, but when I want to plan things with grids and things like that, this is a great way to remind me of the easy math. So on to collections, moving along. Books to read, 2 pages. Inquiry with my kids, 2 pages. I put my homestead dreams, and then right next to it is regional adventures, because part of finding that homestead is exploring the area and finding cute-ass towns that I might want to move to. Ooh, I haven't done this before, but I like the idea of a quote board, so I'm gonna see if I can keep it up. It is so handy to have fun, nice quotes. And then I guess right next to that, once I was rearranging things, I decided that my wealth meditations I was going to put here. And I'm going to put at the top also kind of an affirmation, which is I cultivate abundance in all areas of life. I just like the idea of combining a collection also with a meditation or with an affirmation. And thinking of which, I'll probably come in here with the homestead dreams and the regional adventures and do something similar, like up at the top, you know, my next best home is heading my way, or I'm not sure what it is. I got my gift ideas. I had it on a 2-page spread last time, but it just ended up being mostly blank, so I'm gonna condense it to one. And then I put it right next to a page that's dedicated to how I wanna spend my money. And I just wanna be a lot more intentional about, you know, when money comes in, that I am letting it flow into the world, but in a way that matters to me. I wanna give my money to people who are making beautiful, handcrafted, earth-minded things. So part of it too is having an affirmation about, you know, I have more than enough to share and I enjoy spending my money on ... or I enjoy spending my money with intention. Ooh, this is a page that's all about what I want. I honor my desires. It's okay to want what I want. My dreams are downstream. Like, just go with the flow, Erin. You know, this is a great work here of writing down the simple things that bring me joy, you know, what lights me up, what makes me feel alive. I mean, it could be like the most simplest things: coffee, dancing, kissing, snuggling. It's good medicine. So helpful in the dark days. Moving on to some magical ideas. I told you I want to spread a magical supply shop someday with a cafe. It's going to be potion-y and full of journals and art stuff. Let me know if you want to collaborate someday. And then my grimoire ideas, things that I want in my grimoire, things that I'm building up on my grimoire, almost like a checklist that I can mark off when I complete them. And ooh la la, here we are onto the blank pages. And I'm so excited to see what's going to fill these pages. So my woo curious lovelies, this is the beginning of how I'm going to use my awesome bullet journal to manifest my best life. So I hope you have fun. You get to do this in your own way. Please let me know in the comments, you know, what are your favorite collections? What do you think of doing a whole year in one bullet journal? What do you think about the references at the beginning? Are there some references that you like to keep on hand? Let me know what's got you jazzed and what are you proud of in your bullet journal. Send things my way.